Alright, got a piece of spalted maple burl, but my customer ordered a maple burl one. This one doesn't have a whole lot of spalting, but real beautiful blank. It's going to be really, really pretty when we get it turned down. It's got a lot of really good bird's eyes. It's got some figuring in there. And really excited to see how this one turns out. We're going to be doing some inlays on this one. I think it was with like Dragons Eye Opal. What was it? I think it was Dragons Eye Opal. So we're going to go ahead and get this one going and see how it turns out. Alright, got that turned down pretty close. I'm going to fix that side real quick. Now this was a piece of spalted maple burl, which means that the wood is a little softer than normal, so I did stabilize it. But because of that spalting that was in there, it does get a little dusty, so I had to turn on the air filter back here. But it cuts real fast, so you have to be real careful the depth that you cut at and make sure you're holding your good angles. And we're going to get this set up with our grooves for our inlay, and then we will get this going. I don't know why I took that off. Still got to cut my grooves, silly man. So maybe a little extra loud just because of that air filter, but you know, particulate in the air is not any fun. So we're going to do a 1/4 inch in from the ends. Now I would recommend going a little further in off the ends if you don't have a very good gluing setup. But the gluing setup that I have for these that I've practiced over the years has given me very, very little failure rate, to where it's almost non-existent at this point. I get near 100% contact between the barrel and the blank, and so you can get pretty close to the edge without having to worry about that section coming loose of the brass tube. If you want me to go over that sometime, how I do my glue up, I'll be happy to do a detailed video on it. Just let me know. And I didn't do. I didn't extend my line. That disappeared as soon as it starts spinning. And we'll just take that all the way down to the brass tube. I double checked my customer's order, and we are doing it in these red Dragons Eye Opals from Easy Inlay. You can see those really pretty red opals in there. Now when working with an unfamiliar media, it's always good to do a test. Now these opals need a background color in order to really show their fire, and sometimes that color can affect the type and the amount of fire that you're going for. And so what I did was I just took a cut off piece of maple here, and then I took Sharpie gold, black, and silver and colored a couple of lines in there. And as you can see, the black really causes the fire in those opals to shine through. Now the gold does a pretty good job as well, and you can kind of see the wood darkened where the gold is at. I think that's why it's showing through just as well as the black did. But I think the black overall gives a better effect of depth into the blank when you use that as your background color. So I think I'm going to go with the black with this one. There are other opals out there that if you use black, the opal is more translucent and see-through, and so the black will actually completely change the color of the opal. So you need to go with something like a silver on those because it's more clear. The opal is more clear, and the black won't work with those ones. But this one, this red, is a lot more opaque, and so that black works really, really well. I hope that's coming through. First thing we need to do is we need to seal up the wood ends, so that way we can color the ends with our black Sharpie and not have it bleed through. So to do that, I just take a little bit of thin Glue Boost CA finish on a blue shop towel. Just a real thin coating there. You don't really have to worry about the blue shop towel on the outside of the wood as much, because we're going to turn that down flush later, so that'll go away anyway. Little activator. And then we take our Sharpie, we just color the inside of that. I'll let that dry and then I'll do a second coat, just to make sure it's extra thick, nice bold black. Sometimes the CA finish, if you do it too thin, will cause the black to actually lift up off of the brass, but I find that happens less if I do 2 coats with the Sharpie. You just put a dot of CA glue on there, get a little CA glue on your dental pick, grab an opal from the side, and then put it in there. So I'm going to put this on montage mode, and we'll just get this going through quickly. So here we are a day later, and this is all cured up. So we always let it sit for a day or so in order to make sure that the glue finish that we use gets all nice and hardened up. That way when we hit it with our tools, it doesn't chip out, chunk out, be soft, and not cooperate in the ways that we want it to. So now I'm going to use Easy Wood Tools carbide bit and get that all cleaned up, smoothed down, and get the wood all the way down to the bushings, and then we'll get a finish on it. See some of those little white dots that are there? Those are little tiny air bubbles. Get those cleaned up with a little denatured alcohol, fill it in with a little thin CA glue, and then we can sand, polish, and get this ready for assembly. Check out those opals. Absolutely gorgeous in that pen. Really beautiful. How they glisten. Got that nice red fire in them. Black background really makes them stand out really nicely. Okay, we're going to be putting this together in a gunmetal editor pen. First we will put a dot of CA in both ends. Insert our tip, twist it as we go in. Insert our post, and just put that in our vise or in our lathe. Use that clamping pressure on the banjo. Hold that together. I got these cups years ago, I think, from Woodcraft. They're really nice. They've got a nice dome to them, and then this end has actually has a hole for you to put the tip of your pen in, and it frees up both your hands when you're putting pens together, which is really, really nice. You can apply direct pressure. And then you can release it just as easy, and yeah, I really prefer this method. You guys have seen years ago I had an actual assembly tool, and yeah, I broke the armature on that thing. I bent the charging rod on it one time while trying to put a pen together, and they're just fragile. They're kind of cumbersome. They're not real easy to use. in my opinion, especially not as easy as these. Alright, that clicks on there real nice. Ooh, posts even better. Goodness. That's great. That gunmetal really complements that dark background in those red opals really nicely. It's an excellent choice. Alright, let's go get that shipped off.